Hello everyone, welcome to a special episode of Art Whisperer 88. I am trying out my new set of Lukas pan watercolors. I have never used these before, and I prepared a guide here, a chart of all the different colors. And from my experience doing these little test squares, the color is very creamy. And what I had done is I saved my little eyedropper, fill it with water, and pre-moistened each color with a couple of drops of water just to activate the pigment. And I find that just using a few dabs of the brush with a wet brush, not too wet, the color is very velvety and very smooth. The pigments are very intense and just a pleasure to use. Now, I'm doing a portrait today of a good friend. You all know and love him. His name is Lloyd of Lloyd'sASMR. And here's a pencil sketch, which I had done previously. And I had done some experiments with mixing these colors to get a nice flesh tone. So I find that if you mix English red, it's kind of like a burnt sienna, and a yellow ochre, you get this very pretty flesh tone. Now these are a little darker because I'm just, preparing a sufficient amount, so I have enough, because I'll be doing a wet on wet technique. So here are the pigments I'm going to use. It's really just two pigments, English red and yellow ochre. And I've mixed them and put them here on my palette. And yeah, so this is going to be an adventure. I have never done a watercolor wash portrait before. I have done Lloyd's portrait in a brush pen, which is like a magic marker, but that's a very different medium. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to start by wetting the areas involved, and I will put on the lightest skin tone and work my way as it gets darker and darker. By the way, here's a reference photo. You can see, and this was a photo taken last year. I think it's a very nice photograph with a beautiful background of autumn leaves, and I think this would make a very nice watercolor portrait, and it would be a learning experience for me, since this will be my first time to make a watercolor portrait with good watercolors, not student grade watercolors. I'm not putting down student grade paints. They're good when you want to practice and when you want to learn, But once you want to step up and sharpen your skills, I think it's good to have good tools. And when I mean good tools, it's good to have good brushes, the ones that hold a lot of pigment and that are springy, and you know, having good bristles is important when you want to do good watercolor, and having good watercolors, good fine pigments from reputable brands. So let me get started. I will start by doing a wet wash on the face. And from the photograph, the lightest parts are the cheek area, the nose area, and a little bit of the chin. Okay, I'm taking a short break. That was pretty exhausting. And anyways, I'm going to have a better idea when this all dries out, and I can keep going. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back from a short break. In the meantime, I did a little work on the eyes and the nose. And in order to make it easier for myself, I had to isolate each eye by covering one with a piece of paper. And this way I don't get distracted by the other parts of the face. So I'm going to do the same with the nose and add some more of the pinkish color so it looks more natural. See, parts of the shadows have a reddish cast to them. I'm going to do the same on this area here. And this is following the same principle that I use when I tackle flowers. I divide the face into different sections and makes it a little easier to handle. And I find the nice thing about this Lukas paint is it flows very easily, and when I re-wet the paint, I can easily rearrange the pigment. So even if I do make a mistake, I can just wet the brush with a little water and blend as I see fit. Yeah. So I will do the detailing on the eyebrows and the mustache a little later. Okay, so now I'm working on the lip, which is a kind of a pinky color. The upper lip has a shadow that distinguishes it from the lower lip. Going to work on this patch of whiskers here. I'm just going to use my number 12 brush. It's a little bit of a challenge to paint facial hair because it's very easy to get lost in details, where my goal really is to just capture the essence of the person's face and not get too preoccupied with fine details. Otherwise, in my opinion, it just defeats the purpose of doing a watercolor. Because I really don't want it to be a photographic copy. That's not my intention. I want it to be an interpretation. That's the right word I'm looking for. It's an interpretation of a person's personality as reflected in a portrait. And I cannot emphasize enough what a pleasure it is to use these paints. They are very smooth and very easy to blend. Okay, I'm taking another break to let the beard area dry, and I'll just keep going. I think it's becoming a little more convincing, if I may say so. It's not easy, but I have to try. And I think the more I try, the closer I get to my goal. So I'll be right back. Hi, I'm back. And I played around with the hat and the background autumn leaves, as you can see. And I think I'm going to call this portrait of Lloyd finished. I'd like to wish you, Lloyd, a very happy 40th birthday, and congratulations upon reaching your goal of over 50,000 subscribers. And may God bless you. Again, happy birthday. And all you wonderful subscribers, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time.